Facebook. We have a rowdy crowd here. Everybody say hi, Facebook. Hi. Wow. That was out of control. It blew my hair back. Well, I am Dr. Brett Spradlin, and this is Divine Design Natural Health, and we are getting ready to get started on a class called Grociology 101, and that class is, it's a word I made up. I did. I'll take credit for it. I never saw it anywhere. I just thought, it's the study of groceries. I don't know, ology, study of, grocery, Grociology. I thought it was kind of clever. Don't y'all agree?
Yes.
Yes. Great. Grociology 101. I feel so proud. So we'll get to that in just a minute. Divine Design Natural Health, catalyzing statement. I want you all to pay attention to this. This is why we exist. This is why we're here. We'll cover this real quick. In the sacred service of saving lives ahead of time, we are globally freeing billions of beings through all natural biblical health. That's the mission, that's the purpose, that's the goal, that's why we exist. And we want to be, if you've never heard anything like this, it's kind of challenging to come to grips with the fact that the food isn't quite what we thought it was. It's kind of it's challenging to come to grips with some of the other things we talk about in future classes. That's just quarter one, but future classes, we'll talk about everything from food to air to water. We'll talk about the drugs. We'll talk about, clearing up some questions and confusions in medicine and immunizations and things like that. So it's difficult to come to grips with some of this, and we understand it. That's why tonight is kind of a basic remedial result of taking a whole lot of surveys and saying, hey, what do you really want to know? What do our patients need to know more about? 2 weeks ago, if you attended the Food Truth, What Do I Eat course, or event, we should say, that was the most popular question we get. Well, if I can't eat this and I can't eat that, X, Y, Z, what am I supposed to eat? So the name of that class was, What Do I Eat? We'll go through a little bit of a brief review of that class tonight, but tonight is Grociology 101. So I want to get started on... Well, let's do testimonials first. I want to show you a little bit more before we get into the actual content. I want to show you why there's a wall out there, why there's a referral wall, why there's so many testimonials, why there's a testimonial sheet in all those folders that I sent out. Here's one right here. This guy's 81 years old. He's on about maybe 3 or 4 supplements. Yeah, 4. And he's been doing great ever since he started with us, and that's been probably 2 years ago. When he first started, he says, I couldn't hold my arm up to be tested. We do manual muscle testing here. We'll show you what that means later on. My doctors told me I had high cholesterol and high blood pressure, and wanted to give me poison. And then he said, my blood tests are better than my doctors now. This is as of about 2 months ago. He said, my blood tests are better than my doctors. I eat better food and feel great. I'm 80 years old. Oh, he's 80. And come in once per month to keep my progress. That's pretty much how easy it is. Here's another. This guy's about a 19, 20. Before I had consistent heartburn and burping at least once a day to most nights laying in bed, as well as getting dramatically hangry. That's hungry plus angry at the same time. I'm sure none of you have ever experienced that, right? Hangry?
No.
As well as getting dramatically hangry 4-ish hours after my last meal. After changing, his mom and his sister also come here, and they attested to his hangriness. So after changing my diet, I've literally no heartburn or burping. Also, when I get hungry, now it's much more manageable with no or little mood change. This stuff works. And that's a young guy. That's not an 80-year-old. Here's another female. Within 4 weeks, most of my issues were gone. I no longer am tired all day and look forward to each day. That's a big deal. That is a huge deal. She's got 2 kids. She's married, 2 kids, got a business. That's a big deal. This was paraphrased from someone. I actually wrote it down because she was talking, and I said, this is good. Can I write this down? She said, yes. Acute 48-hour cold sinus problems came in for adjustment, foot spa, nutrition to get checked out. Bladder problems got happier, and all other problems diminished. And this was a direct quote from her. This is the first time in 5 winters I've not gotten a sinus infection, and that was with allergy shots, inhalers, decongestants, etc. Now I'm on none. So that's a big deal right there. She was on allergy shots, inhalers, decongestants, and the first time in 5 winters that she hasn't gotten a sinus infection. But she was still on all those drugs during those 5 previous years. I no longer crave certain foods, bad foods. I no longer feel the urge to overeat. For the first time, I can remember I had fries in front of me that I did not want to eat. That goes right along with the theme of exactly what we're talking about tonight. In other words, it's this. I want that, but I can't have it, if you become a patient here, will soon change into, I can have that, but I don't want it. I'll say that again. I want that, but I can't have it. See, it's that limiting. It's people thinking, well, yeah, I want that chocolate cake, but I just can't have it. You don't even need to worry about that anymore. It will turn into, I can have that, but I just don't want it. Big difference, don't you think? Big difference. A couple more. First experience in the infrared sauna was absolutely amazing. I was forced to sit in complete silence for 45 minutes with only my thoughts to keep me company. It was exactly what I needed. Oh, I'm saying that because that right there is a good instance of infrared saunas. How many of you know what those are? 3, 4, 5 people? Okay. So infrared sauna, great way for your whole body to detox. People do not sweat anymore. Why? They don't work outside. They live in air conditioning. So the infrared sauna is huge. If you guys are into the truth about cancer, Ty and Charlene Bollinger, that whole thing that's been going on for years now, anti-cancer therapies and this and that, one of the biggest things is infrared sauna. Infrared sauna, why? Because cancer is a toxin. Cancer has toxins, builds up toxins in the body. And one of the greatest things you can do is infrared sauna because it's your whole body. Every cell is sweating. Oh, and when you do saunas here, it's a buy 4, get 1. So when you re-up your care plan, you are entered into the avenue of being able to do always whatever package of saunas you get. If you do 4 saunas, you get 1 free. Always, always, always. Here's a big one. Frequent anxiety, constant fatigue, occasional internal tremors, daily joint and muscle pain, frequent and long-lasting periods, frequent brain fog, and lightheadedness became, when I follow a healthy, balanced diet and take my supplements, all my symptoms improve. They haven't all disappeared yet, but in significant improvement. Overall, I function better and more consistently now. And that was just after a couple of weeks. Last one. Tired, acne, restless legs, body aches, dry skin, headaches. All of those would be trips to dermatologist, family practice, orthopedic dermatologist. All of the above are mostly gone. Overall, great energy. There you go. So that just shows you a little snippet of some of the testimonials that you'll see out there on that wall. They're all specific to conditions. So if you're looking for, hey, I've got a friend with headaches, great, we got a sheet for headaches. Hey, if you're looking for body system, my lungs seem to be having a problem, great, we've got a folder for respiratory. So you can look for that. You see those cat-like reflexes? You can look for those out there. We'll show you that at the end. All right, now I just want to show you this real quick. We have a guest speaker here, and I want to show you kind of the big thing that we're talking about here. Oh no, Andrew, where'd it go? I screwed it up. Sorry, we're learning. It just disappeared on me. Oh no. We have a guest speaker. How many of you know who the guest speaker is? Now, how does everybody know this? I wanted to put this together because it's easier to do this here and kind of show you. Everybody asks, groceries, what do I get? Well, this is the take-home message. Groceries, what do I get? Just like what they ask, what do I eat? When they come into a place like this and they see, okay, I have to change my diet. I have to understand that previous health concerns have at least, we have to admit, previous health concerns, previous problems are because of previous habits. We have to confront that and admit it. If you have a problem with your bank account, it's probably because there was some kind of misunderstanding about your bank account. Either you didn't understand that, putting more in than you take out is kind of a prerequisite. Maybe there was a misunderstanding there, kind of like food. If you understand that I have a problem with food, or I understand I have a problem with my body, then a lot of people miss that part. A lot of people don't understand that problem with your body could mean responsibility rested in previous understanding of health. So if we admit that and we confront that whole fact and we understand it, then you can do something about it. If you don't, you're a victim. But if you admit responsibility over it and you say, I am cause over this rather than effect, then there's a million things you can do. So any questions that anybody has about food, groceries? Last time we covered what do I eat? Many of you were here for that. And we can review a little bit of that later on. But this time it's more about groceries. Okay, so I'm supposed to eat plants and animals. How do I do it? Right? People have no concept of this because they've never been taught. They eat out of bags and boxes. So I want to show you this. Maybe this will spark some questions. And then any questions before I show this? We shot this little video. Oh, and I will say there's many good stores around here. There's Aldi's, there's Publix, there's Food City, there's Cook's. We went to Cook's just because it was right down the street and for some other reasons. But you can go anywhere. There are different, I should say, sizes of organic places, of organic produce. What's the amount of organic produce that some place carries? We recommend organic as much as possible. What I'm showing you here is not, so don't get flipped out. It's just we use the regular stuff just because they didn't have a big, giant organic section right there. So I want to show this real quick. Any questions we can cover in just a minute. Hi guys, Dr. Brett Spradlin here, Divine Design Natural Health, and we are doing Grociology 101. Yes, it's a word I made up, but ology is just the study of, and grocery or grocery is the food you buy. So Grociology is the study of the food you buy. So we're just going to walk through Cook's. We're at Cook's here, and we're going to go around mainly the borders and just try to show you what I would get or what you should get. And I'm going to just explain a few things and make all of this very, very sensible for you. Follow me. All right, hey guys, we're just going to go through the produce, through the wall of green right here, and I'm going to show you some great stuff. Okay, here, peppers. Look at this. Look at all the color, look at all the variety. You take these guys, you slice them, dip them in hummus, dip them in salsa, boom, you got a crunchy snack better than chips. All kinds of stuff you can do with peppers. Slice them up, put them in salads. Look at this, bunched spinach. Yes, you can buy it in the plastic bins. We'll show you that later on. But look at this. You shred this up, put it on your salad, or guess what I do with this? I liquefy it. I drink it. I drink my spinach. I'm better than Popeye. That's what I'm talking about. Look at this, collard greens. Okay, one of the healthiest things you can do. Fibrous, dense, very nutrient dense collard greens. These leaves, look at that. Okay, very dense. But one of the best things you can eat is a beet. Lettuce, turnip, the beets. See what I did there? Lettuce, turnip, the beets. Okay. Beets. Slice these up. Eat them raw, warm them up, they get a little mushy, or you can pickle them, you can do anything. You can liquefy these too. All of this stuff I'm showing you can be drunk down in your shake in the mornings. The biggest game changer you're ever going to experience is protein shakes. Beets, liver, gallbladder. You got liver and gallbladder problems, you got a fatty liver, you got cirrhosis. When you come see me, you're going to eat the beets. You're going to eat the beet.
Arby's, we have the beet.
That's right. Right here, kale, superfood. You've heard that term a lot. There's green, there's red, there's lacinato kale, which is another word for like dinosaur kale. You'll hear it referred to a lot of times. But kale, Brussels sprouts, Swiss chard, spinach, collard greens, and beets. You get those 5 or 6 vegetables in your diet on a maybe bi-week, couple times a week basis. You drink those things, you get those in your shake, and you'll be swinging for the fences like me, like Babe Ruth. No, I'm just kidding. But those 5 things, the beets, the kale, the Brussels sprouts, some of the most nutrient-dense vegetables that you can possibly consume. Get a little bit every day and you'll be rocking and rolling right here. Kale, you can try 3 or 4 different varieties of it. Brussels sprouts. Brussels, as in Brussels, Belgium, which I think is where they were actually from. Brussels sprouts, sprouts of Brussels. So Brussels sprouts, you can cook these, put them in the oven, steam them up a little bit of coconut oil, and this, you can liquefy these. You can get them fresh, or you can get bags of frozen ones. Eggplant. Look at this eggplant. Look at the beautiful, dark, orchidy color, okay? You can marinate this thing, you can stuff this thing, you can roast it, you can grill it, you can slice it, you can dice it, you can throw it at your neighbor. That's what you can do with this. Eggplant, try it out. Another thing, I will put this right back where it came from. Look at that, it's right in there. How do they do it? I don't know. Look at this. Okra, people don't even know this stuff exists. Okra, look at this. If I were to break one of these open, would you think I can get away with it? I think I can. Beautiful, look at what God did here. And it's got peach fuzz on it. okay? But look at this. I bet I can get away with breaking one of these open. This is the reason. Standard Process has a supplement called Ochrapepsin E3. Look at this. It's like gel, okay? It's like aloe for your guts, okay? It's jelly, and if you were to, it's kind of slimy, but when you eat it fresh, it's so great. When you eat it fried, it kind of kills all the flavor, and it kind of kills all of the slime. What does this do? Coats your insides, coats your guts, and cures and fixes the lining of your stomach. That's why pepsin, okra, and ochrapepsin is such a very, very, very great supplement for your gut. Alrighty, avocados, another big giant food that you guys need. Look at this, okay? You want them firm. Oh, and a trick with avocados. Slice them this way. Slice them, slice them, slice them. Break them apart like that. Take your knife, slap it into the pit, twist it, it comes right out. You don't squish it all over the place. Then you just take the half and squeeze it, pops right out. Squeeze it, pops right out. Very simple. They just got to be just right before you do that, but that's a trick with avocados. Or you slice the half, get both halves like this, take a spoon around the side, scoop it out. A little bit of onions, a little bit of fresh cilantro, a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of lime juice. You just made your own fresh guacamole. So we spent some time talking about vegetables. Everybody asked me, what about fruit? Start here. Just start eating a little bit of more fruit. Okay, here's like, what, 6 or 8, maybe 10 different types of pears and apples. Just go towards a little bit of fruit. Later on, we'll work with you to cut down the amount of sugar that you're doing. But first, we'll get you off the processed, canned, boxed, bagged stuff, the processed, refined things, and just get you over to real food. From there, we'll work on cutting your sugar down. But if you need to, start with fruit, and then we'll work you towards all of the vegetables. Super easy. You can do this. I believe in you. Now we're going to transition into milk. A lot of people have a very hard time with dairy. Why? All the antibiotics, all the growth hormones. It's causing a lot of problems, particularly with your kids, particularly with kids with asthma, allergies, and breathing problems. How do you get around it? Right here, almond milk. So what do you want to look for with almond milk? Same thing we talked about in Fruitland over there. We want to look for less sugar. There's 3 or 4 different kinds of almond milk. You're dealing with chocolate or vanilla or original, but then there's unsweetened. Here's the Silk, okay? Here's Almond Breeze. And as you can see, unsweetened original over there. So that original has the sugar in it, and they added sugar. Unsweetened means they didn't add any sugar. Vanilla, and then here's the Silk brand. They're around about the same price, but what you want to look for is this right here. I'll show you, the non-GMO certified. Grass-fed in the USA. These are happy, hippy-dippy, homeschooled, pasture-raised, Vital Farms, girls on grass, raised with respect, fresh air and sunshine, freedom to graze under open skies on American family farms. That sounds like a cow. I'll eat their butter. That's right. And you look here at the ingredients, cream, milk in parentheses, sea salt. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. And they're from the land of hippies, Austin, Texas. Used to live there. I can get down to that. So right here, yo, what do we do about meats? Meats. What do we do about the meats? Well, this is chicken. Okay, Springer Mountain Farms, non-GMO project verified. That's what we pointed out earlier. No hormones ever, no antibiotics ever, no animal byproducts in feed ever. But Springer Mountain Farms, I've heard of these guys. Might have to check into their birds. Hey guys, I just wanted to show you Cook's coupon flyer weekly thingamajigger for Saturday, January 26th. Look, Dole organic salads, 5-ounce selected varieties, save $1 each, $2.99. That's cool. The sound technician, everything. So he was able to put that together in record speed. So thank you, Andrew. And so hopefully that kind of got people into just bringing up the reality for people a little bit so that you can kind of see what is some of this stuff. I know for me, when I first got into this, I had to learn all this. I didn't know how to cook eggplant. I didn't know what kale was. I didn't know Brussels sprouts. What do you do with those? You can prepare them, you can put them in the oven just like anything else, or you can just liquefy them and drink them. Because now we have these wonderful things called Vitamixes, we have Blendtex, we have Ninjas, we have all this stuff that exists now where there is no reason for anybody to be as sick as they currently are. because we have all of this technology at our disposal, and now we have all of this organic food. We have all of these things. How do I know that we're the doctors of the future? How do I know that things are changing? Well, because there are organizations that you may have heard of, like Panera, that are getting rid of chemicals as of 2016, getting rid of all of the as much as the chemicals as possible out of their food. There are places like Chipotle that are now really making a dent in the fast food market because they're not doing as much or at all any genetically modified organisms or antibiotically raised or genetically modified beef or chicken or anything like that. There are restaurants out there now that are farm to table. There's one right here. There's Aubrey's right here in the backyard, right within walking distance of this building. That's more of a farm to table. You go to Chattanooga, there's farm to table restaurants all over the place. So how do I know that things are changing? Because people are getting tired of the chemicals and the growth hormones, and they know that they're getting sick from this stuff. So one thing too, I wanted to kind of show you that. It's hard to take you all to the grocery store and show you this. So that's why I wanted to do that video and kind of make that make a lot of sense. Now, if Andrew can bring up the other thing, the website, I want to show you why there's so much confusion about some of this stuff. While he's doing that, I want to review from last time the rules that we came up with on what do I eat? What was the thing that I said? What do I eat? What's the 2 words that I said? Anybody? Some of you were here. 2 words. What's up, mister? How you doing, buddy? Good. 2 words. People say, what do I eat? I say, it's very simple. Real food. Real food. Yeah, you had it. Real food. What does that mean? See, you have to define real. You have to define food now. You have to define water. You have to define red meat. You have to define eggs. You have to define milk. You have to define these things because they're no longer what they used to be. Okay? So we came up with some rules. Eat what God made. Stay away from what man modified. Don't let any food be your object of worship. Don't eat anything that your grandmother wouldn't recognize as food. How many of you say amen to that? Avoid food products that contain more than 5 ingredients or so. You make your own number there. Avoid food products containing ingredients that a third grader cannot pronounce. If your grandchild cannot pronounce the food that you're eating, the chemicals or the food or the additives or the preservatives in the food, that might be a sign to you. Made by a plant, eat it. Made in a plant, beat it. How many of you like that one? If you can't pronounce it, denounce it. We came up with all these rules. If it's white, it ain't right. We came up with all these rules, right? So the big message this time is don't just grab the same brand that you've always grabbed. And particularly, don't just grab what's on sale. Why are things on sale? What kind of foods are in the coupon flyers? Processed food, almost every time. That's why I pointed that out. That's why I said, hey guys, here's the weekly thingamajigger, the coupon flyer at Cook's. And I was shocked that there was organic lettuce on sale. I couldn't believe it. It was the packaged kind. Still, that's a step up. I'd never seen that before. So don't just grab the same brand you've always bought and don't just reach for whatever's on sale. Try actually doing this, what we're going to do here, and try actually taking the package and turning it over and looking at the ingredients and seeing on the label what's inside that package, okay? We have to come to grips with, I'm going to skip some of this stuff. This is too much. Too much stuff. Gosh, there's so much stuff here I want to get to, but I want to say Publix, Aldi's, Food City, Earth Fare, Fresh Market, Whole Foods. That's another way that you know that things are changing. How many of you have heard of Earth Fare? Yeah. How many of you have not heard of Whole Foods? Everybody in this room has heard of Whole Foods. So that's what I mean. Years ago, Whole Foods started in Austin, Texas, too, as a matter of fact. Austin, Texas is where just everything starts. Everything starts there. So other things that you can do, farmers markets, CSAs, community-supported agriculture. That's kind of taking out the middleman. That's kind of you buy a share from a local farmer. These are all over the place. Chattanooga, they're everywhere. CSA, community-supported agriculture. You can find them online. You can call them up. And you can buy a share from a local farmer and say, I'm going to pay you, it's a certain amount of money for a half share or a whole share for that growing season. And you never know what you're going to get in that box. But it's a lot of food. It is a lot of food. So those are some other options. If we had more time, I'd go into more of that. But we're going to try to be done with the presentation at around about 7:15 and try to get everybody out of here. For anybody who wants to stick around for a tour and or a demonstration, we're going to show you exactly what we do and how we do it. I just got to fly through this. So I would spend a lot more time on this. But with the CSAs, the selection depends on the growing season and where you are geographically and the weather as well. So you just got to keep that in mind. We're going to see, if you come to the February 11th, the next class that we have, the next event, we're going to show you what happens when we get all those vegetables. What do you do with them now? See, we have to go in steps. Gradient, small steps. We can't just come in. Somebody comes in and we say, okay, we're going to totally change your breakfast, lunch, dinner. We're going to do this and this and this. No more of that, no more of that. How long are they going to comply? How long are they going to be on board? Not long at all. You go to a trainer, you go to a gym, they're not going to put you on benching 200 pounds right away. They're going to say, well, let's just start with some curls. Chris, how many people are you're going to play guitar? You're going to teach somebody guitar. Are you going to start with a C-sharp Phrygian scale with them? Absolutely not. No, you might start with a C major. That would be a good place to start, right? You're not going to blow their minds. You're not going to just way overwhelm them. That's exactly what we do here. Rules for shopping. Here we go. Organic as much as possible. Greens are great. Remember that. You don't have to do organic every single bite, okay? And probably you're not going to be able to find everything organic. No bags, cans, or boxes. That's a good rule to keep, okay? No bags, cans, or boxes. Okay, that might be difficult for some things. No GMO or non-GMO project verified labels like that non-GMO label I showed you on the chicken. Now, well, we'll just say this. The chickens aren't genetically modified, but you also have to make sure that with packaging like that, it says, did you notice it said no, and no genetically modified feeds? Well, the chickens aren't genetically modified, but what about the feed that they're being fed? Because chickens were never designed to eat corn, right? There's, huh?
Never met a chicken, I don't know.
You never met a chicken? Oh, you got to get out some a little bit. You got to get outside. But chickens were supposed to eat bugs and grass. Chickens, I don't ever remember a chicken climbing up on a corn stalk and chewing on a cob. So how was a chicken ever supposed to get corn? You just have to think about this stuff. USDA certified organic. That's taking the organic as much as possible. You want to look for the USDA certified organic label. And when you go to the grocery store, notice what we did there. We went around the outer borders, right? Where all the refrigeration is. Where all the fresh stuff is. Because all the stuff in the middle, if it can't rot, what was one of the rules last week, 2 weeks ago? If it can't rot, eat it not. So all that stuff in the bags and the cans and the boxes, it ain't going to rot. Okay? If it won't rot, that means that it's not something that you should put in your face. So stay on the outer borders and duck into the aisles only to your own peril and only if you have to, like for maybe a condiment or, a special thing, okay? Coconut and almond milks for smoothies or for shakes, those are great. If your kids don't like the idea of vegetables in their shakes or in grinding up vegetables, just call them milkshakes. They'll love that. That's not lying, is it? No. Eggs, meats, dairy, go clean, and you should splurge on price. Your food is the price of you living on planet Earth. It's the price of good health. People say, well, organic food's so expensive. Well, depends on how you look at it. I think a diagnosis and CAT scans and missing the cruise that you signed up for is more expensive. Just depends on what you think. You're going to value what you value. And if you value crappy food and nice, big, giant insurance premiums and all the bells and whistles with the CAT scans and the MRIs and the blood labs, if that's what you value, that's what you'll pay for, that's what you'll get. If you value health and life, you'll see the truth of what I'm saying because it echoes what your mom and your grandma said. You are what you eat. And we're going to get into testing Hannah here in a minute. And I'm going to show you how we figure out designed specific clinical nutrition because your bones, your joints, your organs only can regenerate from one thing. Who knows what that one thing is? It's the nutrition. It's the food you eat. That's why when people come in here and they say, well, I just want to get my back popped. That's not what I do. Not what I do at all. That's part of it. Chiropractic is part of it. And I will adjust you. Yes, sir, I will adjust you. But if you want to come here and not change your diet, I will refer you kindly down the road to, 12 or 15 other chiropractors in this town that will pop your back. That's not what I do. That is part of it. But I know something that they're not doing, and here's why. Here's how I know. Because every single person that comes here says, I went to a chiropractor. I say, did they do nutrition? They say no. I said, that's why you're here. They didn't do nutrition with you. Because if I do nutrition with you, I don't have to adjust you as much. Because your joints are made of what? the food you ate. I'm looking at your diet from a year ago. I'm looking at your diet from a year ago, basically. So if you are what you eat, just don't be, what's the saying? Don't be fast and don't be cheap and don't be easy. That's worth a laugh. Come on. That was good. I get an amen on that one. Okay, so I want to cover this and show you why is this so silly? Why is this so expansively just hard for people to understand? Oh, you got the iPad. Why is this so? Now, notice the nutrition. Oh, hold on. Basics of nutrition. This is the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. I'm not going to harp on these guys. I just want to show you how difficult, thank you, that's the word I'm looking for, how difficult this is for people to understand, okay? Here's what you should be aware of on a nutrition label. Scroll up a little bit. I just want to stop right here. Yep, perfect. Now, so start with the serving size, check out the total calories, let the percent daily values be your guide. Let's just stop right there, okay? The first part's okay. Start with the serving size, okay? So if you've got 8 servings per container and the serving size is 55 grams, inside this container, if you flip it over on the front, it's probably going to say it's about 450 grams. Did I do the math right? 855 times 8. The total weight of the pack, or whatever that is. 450? Did I do that right? Ish. Close enough. So if you turn that box over and you say, and it says net weight, I guarantee you that the net weight is going to be that number times that number. Does that make sense? So that's saying that there's 8 servings in that container. Now, if this was a thing of soda or a big giant Red Bull or something like that, the serving size would be, the 8 servings per container. It would say like 2 or 3 servings in that can. You get that? So what does that mean? I'd have to multiply the servings times all of these numbers to figure out, like if there's 8 servings in the container and I ate the whole container, this is just an example. I don't even know what this is. This is just the Academy of Dietetics and Nutrition. Okay, I'm going to show you how silly this is. Total carbohydrates. I would have to multiply 8 times 37 to tell how many carbs are in that package. Does everybody get that? So 8 times 40 would be 320 carbs would be in that package, right? Total fat would be about 65 grams. Total protein would be about 24. That's telling me that there is a lot of carbohydrates in this. In other words, there's a lot of sugar in that. Does that make sense? So scroll back out a little bit, or zoom back out. Check out the total calories. I don't give a rip about calories, and neither should you. Here's the thing. For years, Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig and Slim Fast and Nutrisystem and every diet plan on earth has told you to watch what? Calories. Has any of them told you to look at chemicals? No. Not one. Not one. So calories tells you nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Does that make sense? So that, I won't even address that any further. Let the percent daily values be your guide. Basically, that's saying pay attention to these things right here. If it's below 5 or less, aim low in saturated fat, or if it's high, 20. If it's high, it's over 20 here. If it's low, they say high and low. Low would be below 5, and high would be over 20. So these daily values, it says percent daily values are for the entire day, not just one meal. Daily values are average levels of nutrients for a person eating 2,000 calories a day. What did I just say about calories? They don't matter. Do you see the ludicrous, the senselessness of this? You see why everybody's confused on diet? Here's the most simple thing about this whole entire label back here, Andrew. So, well, hold on, and before we go, you may need more or less than 2,000 calories per day. Well, that's true, depending upon how much physical activity you do, how big you are, how small you are. But if you're just thinking about calories, you're not thinking about turning over and looking at the ingredients. You're not looking at the chemicals and the preservatives and the artificial flavors. So scroll back down here. These are the only things you really need to pay attention to. Back down to the whole thing. Right here, you'll notice that there are a few things here in bold. 3 of those things are the only things that humans can consume because that's all the digestive enzymes you have. 3 of them. Fat, carbohydrate, and protein. If it's not fat, carbohydrate, or protein, you can't eat it. Well, you might be able to eat it. You just won't digest it. Let's put it this way. It's going to come out in the same form you put it in it. You got that? If you eat a marble, you don't have an enzyme called marblase, so it's going to come out a marble. If you eat a stone, you cannot break down stones. It will come out. If you eat grass, it will come out as grass. You do not have the enzyme to break down grass. Cows do. So fat, carbohydrate, and protein. Now, they get you thinking, they scare you with the cholesterol and sodium, but really the big three right here are protein, carbohydrate, and fat. That's all you can digest. Does that make sense? That's the simplicity of this. That is the simplicity of this. If you took music and said, hey, there's really only 12 notes, but in a scale there's only 7. Well, there's 8, but the first one and the last one are the same. That would simplify it, wouldn't it? There's only 12 notes. You look at a big 64, 88 key or 64 key keyboard. If you say there's only 12 notes, that simplifies things big time. That's what I'm doing here. Fat, carb, and protein, there's really 3 things. That's it. Now, the key is you just don't want this carb number to be too big. Why? Because sugar is the reason that cancer and heart disease and stroke and diabetes and all hypertension, sugar is the reason why your dermatologist's office is crazy, out of control busy. Sugar is the reason why the cancer centers are going out of control. Sugar is the reason why everyone in this room knows 5 or 10 or 25 people on hypertension meds. Sugar's the reason. And we'll get to that in just a minute. So the last couple things I want to cover with this, scroll down a little bit more, Andrew. So the first couple steps here are bogus. This is why everybody's confused. Check out the nutrition terms, low calorie, low cholesterol, reduced, good source of, calorie-free. All of that's bogus. I won't even go into that. Choose low and saturated fat, added sugars, bogus. Get enough vitamins, minerals, and fiber. That makes sense. Step 6 there, get enough vitamins, minerals, and fiber. And I know people in the back probably have a hard time seeing this. But eat more fiber, potassium, vitamin D, choose more fruits and vegetables. Okay, why didn't they say that up top? Right? Remember to aim high for percentage daily value of these nutrients. We already determined that the daily value is just based on 2,000 calories, so why are we even shooting for the percentages of the daily value, right? This doesn't make sense. They could have simplified all this by saying 2 words. What are the 2 words? Real food. Real food. Okay, zoom out. Consider the additional nutrients, protein, carbohydrates. That's the first time they mention protein, carbohydrates. Okay, really that's it. I want to cover here. Here's what you should be aware of on a nutritional label. Serving size, like we talked about. If you have more than 1 serving, just to review, multiply accordingly, okay? Total grams of carbs, that's the biggie. Remember, if you were here, what was the magic number of carbs? When we were here, Food Truth, what do I eat 2 weeks ago, January 14th? 60 to 100, yes. 72 if you want to lose weight. Get your carbs under 72. That'll be a challenge for everyone in this room. Okay, total grams of carbs, grams of dietary fiber, in order to figure out the carbs, because fiber, this is where it does get a little confusing. Fiber is a type of carbohydrate. It's a type of carbohydrate that you can't digest. So you would have to take that number of fiber, the total grams of fiber, and subtract it from the carbohydrates if you were really keeping track of your carbohydrates. And then you would get what's called the net total carbohydrates. We don't want to confuse anybody. But if you had 36 grams of carbs and you minus 6 grams of fiber, that means you would have 30 total grams of carbohydrates. If you were really, really, really watching, or if you were doing one of these silly diets that makes you weigh and measure everything, and then you get OCD about all the numbers, that's a good way to get crazy about the numbers, okay? We don't want you to do that. We don't even have people do that. It's just simpler to eat real food, and your body will manage the weight. It's amazing how it happens. Don't be afraid of cholesterol and sodium. They're not the enemy. That's all I'm going to say about that. All ingredients are listed in descending order by weight. Largest amount first. You probably already knew that. So if you turn something over and it says sugar, dextrose, the biggest constituent of that is the first thing listed. You probably already knew that. More attention should be paid to chemicals, not calories, and you want to avoid foods that have more than 1/3 of their total carbs coming from sugar. So like that instance right there was 55 grams of the serving size and 37 grams of carbohydrates. Is that more than 1/3? So that label right there, shown by the Academy of Dietetics and Nutrition, was a good food or a bad food? The example that they used was a crap food. Horrible food, absolutely. That's why everybody's confused. And then you multiply it and magnify it, you put it on the media, you put it on TV, and 1 minute the newscasters are saying fish oil is great for you, and the next minute they're saying fish oil causes cancer. Define fish oil, right? Is it Walmart fish oil, or is it fish oil that's like doctor only, healthcare professional only, like stuff that, you know, I had to go to school for a long time in order to have an account to be able to buy. So you describe, label, define fish oil. Does that make sense? That's why we're having a hard time in America. It's confusion. let us take care of that for you. So the solution, 1 week you avoid corn, 1 week you avoid bad fats, the next week you avoid sweeteners, and then you just add. You don't have to be perfect, you just got to be patient and persistent. Okay. Oh no. There. I always play with my hair. Okay, so just real quick, we're going to go here because the iPad was dying. So here, I'm going to march over here. So if we make this little diagram, organ dysfunction, nutritional deficiencies, my markers are dead. We did this last time too. I want to show you what this means. Organ dysfunction, nutritional deficiency. If you turn that green sheet over, the sugar quiz that you all had right there, you pick a disease, you can put it right up here. If you want to put sugar, because sugar will cause or lead to or exacerbate every disease that you can name. Every disease that you can name. So now do you understand, if there's confusion in the media, if there's confusion in even the Academy of Dietetics and Nutrition, if there's confusion there, can you understand why all those diseases, flip that over, flip that sugar quiz over, keep that on your fridge.
Are you referring to refined sugars or natural sugars or all of them?
Refined sugar first and foremost, but natural sugar will do the same thing. Because even the fruits now are genetically modified so that the sugar content goes up. They make them sweeter to your taste buds so that you buy more. So when the sugar content is up, what happens naturally to the balance that God created in that plant? What happens now to the vitamins and minerals in that plant? The ratio of vitamins and minerals. Sugar goes up, vitamins, minerals goes up or down? Down. Sugar. Sugar. Bread, cakes, candies, pastas, all the processed stuff, all the candy, all that. Huge. But then you got to watch out for the fruit. If you remember in the video, I said, hey, if you're having a hard time with food, you get away from the fast food, get away from the processed stuff as much as you can. Okay, march over, try to get over into the fruits. Just do that. Step one, gradient little steps. So if somebody says, well, all I eat is fast food. Happens all the time. I get people in here all the time. All they're eating is processed crap. Or their potlucks at church. That's the big one. If you want to be truthful. Church people eat the lousiest food ever. And I'm changing that. Thank you. Amen. Right? But I said, just get over to fruits. Do some apples. Do some pears. Then we'll get you over to the veggies. So that's a good question. Everybody, the question was, you're talking about processed stuff or natural sugars. Well, kind of both, but you want to start with the processed. Absolutely. So flip this over and you'll see, let's go to number 28. All your friends that had their gallbladders ripped out. Number 28, sugar can cause gallstones. I'm sorry if I probably read somebody's mail there, huh? Sugar can cause, anybody who's had heart attacks or heart problems or stents or bypasses or grafts or pacemakers or, look at number 29. Sugar can cause what? Heart disease? Okay. Sugar can cause number 30, appendicitis. Sugar can cause number 31, multiple sclerosis. Sugar can cause hemorrhoids. Sugar can cause varicose veins. Are you getting the point? Yeah. Kind of crazy, huh? So if there's one thing that we need to eliminate, and I teach an entire class just on sugar. It's called the most dangerous substance or the most evil substance on earth. Yeah. I teach a lot of classes. So that schedule you got earlier is just Q1 for 2019. Let's see, skip over. Number 20, guys. Number 120, sugar can lead to prostate cancer. Number 121, sugar dehydrates newborns. So what do you think about pregnant moms eating a lot of sugar? Could that be part of maybe postpartum depression, maybe some learning disabilities with the kids? Could that be part of the problems that we're having with low birth weights? Could that be part of the infant mortality rate? Higher in America than any other civilized, industrialized country. Did you know that? Sugar can cause low birth, and we just talked about that. Low birth weight babies, 123. How about let's skip over to 75. Sugar can cause depression. How many of you are on Lexapro? How many of you are on any type of psychiatric medications? How many of you struggle with anxiety and depression? I'm telling you right here, this is freedom, people. This is the truth. This is freedom. You will go to your gastroenterologist and their entire office staff will be overweight. you know I'm right. You will go to your doctor's office, and their staff themselves, too, will be overweight. I'm not poking fun at people. I'm not saying they're evil people. I'm just saying. I went to an orthodontist one time that had a lisp. And I'm sitting in the chair, and I'm thinking, this isn't a good idea. Do you get my point? You get what I'm saying? When your orthodontist talk like this, you got to ask them questions. I'm just saying. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. So, well, we'll get to the solutions here. So how do we? It took you a minute. Delayed reaction right there. So, all of these problems, you can put any disease up here, and any disease is going to be caused by and cause organ dysfunctions and nutritional deficiencies. If you have an organ dysfunction, you already have a nutritional deficiency, because your organs are made of what? The food you ate. If you have a nutritional deficiency, you will have an organ dysfunction. And that will both go, you move one leg of this triangle, you move one corner of this triangle, and it moves all three. So you will influence that disease by further nutritional deficiencies and or further organ dysfunctions. So what do? How do we fix it? We have to understand, anything can cause anything, right? Anything can cause anything. Can an organ dysfunction cause a nutritional deficiency? Absolutely. What's a good example? Like if you have an organ dysfunction and your heart's not pumping enough blood to a certain area, your fingers are going to turn, your fingers and toes are going to turn purple. So we'd say that's an organ deficiency, an organ dysfunction. Is that going to cause a nutritional deficiency in your fingers and toes? Yeah, they're not getting enough blood. What does blood carry? Boom, right? If you have a nutritional deficiency and you don't have enough raw materials, you're making your house out of cardboard and 2x4s, cardboard and drywall, or cardboard and 2x4s. But you really want to make your house out of bricks and mortar. You know, you're getting the wrong nutrients in your body. So how long is it going to take until that body breaks down? So sugar quiz. How many of you completed that? Yeah. So how many did you answer false to? Okay. Anybody else? She had 5. Anybody else? What did we say? 6?
7.
Oh, 7. So if you answered false to more than about 4 of them, you need some help with the sugar situation. Okay? So like we talked about before, we just have to admit that our current health is just kind of a reflection of past choices or current habits, right? So you have to ask yourself, how is this affecting us? How is this affecting you? How is this affecting you? How is this affecting your kids? How is it affecting your grandkids? The kids are not predicted to outlive. The first generation that's not predicted to outlive their parents. Did you know that? The sickest generation of children ever recorded in civilized history right now. Did you know that? You did know that.
Well, I did. I've been watching it.
Oh, you've been seeing it for years now, right? So if it's affecting your life, it probably affected your kids, who then affected your grandkids, or on down the line, right? So you got to do something about it. Would you agree?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. You have to ask how it's affecting you. Is it affecting yourself? Well, probably, or you wouldn't be here. Is it affecting your family? Is it affecting your work? Are you losing time at work? Are you not able to concentrate? Are you nagging other employees? Are employees having a hard time with you? Is it affecting your circle? Is it affecting your social circle? Do you not go out because you don't want to talk to people? Maybe you can't hold your bladder. You don't want to go. You certainly don't want to hop on an airplane. Or maybe you don't want to go out in public because you're afraid of how you think you don't look good because your hair's falling out, something like that. All of these things, how it affects yourself, your family, your work, and you out in society. All of this is exactly what all of those testimonials that I just read a little while ago were all about. Either it was affecting themselves, their family, their work, or their being able to be social. You remember the young man who was hangry? Remember? Got angry with people because he was hungry, doesn't experience that anymore. So you have to ask yourself, is it going to get worse or is it going to get better? Do I want to change? Well, if you don't do anything, is it going to get worse or is it going to get better? It's going to get worse, right? Whether it's an organ deficiency, whether it's gallstones, whether it's gout, or whether it's cancer. It doesn't matter. If you don't do anything, it's probably going to get worse. If you don't change your diet, it's probably going to get worse. You continue doing the same thing. Confront your need to change and say, well, okay, I need to change something. Figure out how committed you are on a 1 to 10. Where am I? We ask people regularly. We had, all kinds of new patients just got started just recently. That's one of the questions we first ask them. How are you committed to change on a scale of 1 to 10? If they say anything less than 9, I say, well, why? First, why? Why are you less than 9? Why do you want to hang on to this? What is this unwanted health problem that you're okay with putting up with? Especially at this age. Why are you, if you're 20 years old and you've got this health problem going on, why? Why would you want to put up with that? Well, it's no big deal. I can deal with it. Okay, well, then why are you here? So you have to get down to the root. Confront it. Sometimes it's difficult. Say, why do you want to change this? Are you committed? Yes. All right. So there's hope. We can help. This is how. Let's do a little demonstration. Your body takes care of everything without you having to think about digesting, breathing, pumping blood to your organs, all that. Hannah, we're going to do a little demonstration. This is exactly what we would do for anyone here who's interested to see if you're a case. What we would do. Her body, yeah. Come this way. Well,
To be the helper. Justin, you want to help?
well, yeah, we might use these. So her body is constantly pushing energy to where it needs to go. Energy, I'll just use this, is blood. Blood carries energy, right? Simple, easy. Her body is constantly monitoring blood pressure, heart rate, chemicals in the blood, amount of food and nutrients. Her body's constantly monitoring hormones. Her brain's monitoring neurotransmitters. Guess what? How much of that you have to know or think about? 0. It's all part of your subconscious mind. Just your conscious mind is all you're dealing with. Thank God. Hallelujah. That's all we have to, especially ladies, when you get pregnant and you have a baby, how much of that do you have to think of? 0, right? So her body is wiser than I am. Her body knows more than my degrees. Her body doesn't care what my name is. Her body wants to get better. So, example, hypothermia. If she fell into a lake, her body would shut down blood flow to her arms and legs, to her toes and fingers, and it would shunt all of the blood to her heart, her lungs, her kidneys, all of her internal organs. And I do this, just like we do the sugar quiz, for current patients to re-cement it and re-educate, but I do it for new patients too, or people who are here new, so that they can understand, like, this makes sense, okay? And for older patients, it reiterates things. So if we find a good, solid, strong arm, it's been around for a long time. Manual muscle testing's been around for long time. If we find a good, solid response, great. If there's a spot in her body, like say I touch her lung and she's okay, her body says, yeah, no problem. Touch this lung. Yeah, no problem. Brain. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem. Say I get to her heart and her body has an underlying problem with her heart. Just like with hypothermia, it's going to shunt all of that blood away from, the body doesn't give a rip about the strong arm anymore. It's going to say, I need help with the heart. Does that make sense? Yes, makes a ton of sense. We're measuring energy. What does a CAT scan measure?
Cat?
A cat. Ha, that's a good one. I like that. What does an MRI measure? What does a blood lab measure? It measures energy. What does an X-ray measure? Energy. So if I touch her heart right here, and her body, in all of its wisdom, says, I'm having a problem with the heart, I'm shutting that arm off because I don't care about the strength of that arm anymore. Right? Her body doesn't care about the strength of the arm, it cares about the heart. If we find a substance, close eyes, if we find a substance, same thing. If we find a substance that her body does not like, so that's a bad one, right? If we find a substance, so that's good. So hold on to that. No, leave that over there. Keep this over here. So that's not bad, okay? If we find a substance that her body hates, or her body does not want anything, you felt that one, didn't you? You can feel it. Sometimes you can just feel it. Boom, okay? A substance that her body does not like versus something that we know is good for her. Boom. And if we go right back to normal, that was good. Yeah, her body does not want to ingest that pen.
Oh. I had no idea what you put in it.
The only one, once again. Yeah, yeah. Again, we've done this how many times? Organic stevia. So her body's okay with that. Same deal with, we could do that test with drugs. We could do that test with supplements. We could do that test with food. And your body would show us exactly, thank you, Hannah. Her body would show us, just like anybody's in this room, would show us what's good for you and what's not good for you. Everybody's going to be different. But I can guarantee you, there's certain things that your body will not want. So that's the screening demonstration. We're offering everyone a free screening, a consultation to determine if you're a case. So if so, and we determine that you're a case, then we offer savings off of your new patient exam. You can go ahead and pass those out.
If you could all please just fill this out for us, that would be wonderful. And then just hold on to it. If you need a pen, let me know. And when we get done, you can hand it to me outside the door, okay?
Yep.
Very important part for everybody to fill out.
So how do we do it? We do it through nutrition response testing and designed clinical nutrition. I'll give you a brief overview of these real quick. We find organs, just like what we did with Hannah. We put them in the right order, and we find specific nutritional supplements that will rebuild those organs over time, because your organs are made of what?
Food.
Exactly. Everything radiates energy. It's measurable with certain types of cameras, meters. We talked about that with CAT scans, MRIs, all that. What we're doing is we're just measuring it with your muscle strength, your energy. So with this, with designed clinical nutrition response testing, we're gauging the response, the response of the actual muscle. So the response is what we're looking for, a change in response. Designed clinical nutrition, it's designed specifically for each person at that particular time in their lives. So if somebody comes in and they're pregnant, it'll be a very different test than if they show up 6 months earlier and they're not pregnant. Their body's going to know a lot of different things at that point when they're pregnant. Their body's going to tell us a lot of different information. So it's kind of similar to, everybody in this room, we're making tailor-made black suits for everybody, but your inseam would be different than your inseam. The suit would look identical, but your neck size would be different than your neck size. It's no magic recipe. It's no one-size-fits-all protocol. It's designed specifically for each person. Overall health, it's safe. It's natural. Most of what we use is whole food supplements. We're not treating symptoms. We're restoring overall health. Somebody comes in, they've got, they've had previous heart attacks. They've had previous this, previous that. We're not treating the symptoms. We're rebuilding your body over time. Everyone knows that your hemoglobin A1C is a measure of your blood sugar over the last 90 days. Does everyone know that? Hemoglobin A1C, you hear it on the commercials. Oh, I lowered my A1C with this drug. It's a measure of your blood cells over a 90-day period. It's a measure of the sugar in your blood over 90 days. What does that tell you about your blood cells? That within about 90 days we can rebuild your blood based on the food that you eat. Hold on one sec. It's not quick. It can take several months. You come in here, I'm telling you right now, you come in here, you've been sick for 10, 15, 20 years, you've had the same symptoms, it's going to take months. This is not here's your supplements, you'll be better in 2 days. You've been sick for decades. It ain't going to get better, and you'll start feeling a difference within days. Will you get better within days? More than likely not. So it's more of a, it can take months. Sometimes, depending on your dietary stuff, it could take longer than that. And there's no side effects or interactions. So overall health, safe and natural. No side effects, no reactions. This is safe for nursing mothers, breastfeeding babies, nursing homes, people on feeding tubes, wheelchairs, whole 9 yards. Question? Facebook? Yes.
Okay, first of all, Jamie Johnson says hello.
Here. Yes.
Is it on?
Should be on.
It's on. Okay. So Jamie Johnson says hello. Can you say hi to her?
Oh, Jamie Johnson. Hi there, Jamie Johnson.
And then Leah Slowiak said hello.
Leah, yes.
Marlo family said hello.
Oh, Chad and Rachel and Kayla.
Elijah
Kayla.
Volkman.
Oh, Elijah. What are you doing, brother?
Kim Owens.
Yes.
Laura Yost.
Laura. No way. Wow, Laura Yost.
Lenny Jones says hello.
Name
and
from the
then
past. Wow. Hi, Laura.
Virginia said hello with a heart.
Oh, hearts.
And
Hearts,
Nicholas
hearts, hearts.
Maroulis also said hello.
Wow, all kinds of people. Great.
And then I did have questions. So first of all, Virginia said the quantity of food has never been my problem. I've never been one to overeat. The problem has been what I eat.
Yes.
I never knew this kind of stuff until I went to Divine Design. It is a process, but it is worth it, I believe.
Yes. Virginia, read that one more time in the microphone. Did you get that okay? Yeah, microphone right there.
You hear that?
You did? Or, oh, okay. So Virginia,
And then also once you're done.
read the thing, read again the first couple sentences. Thank you, Virginia. That was a great reiteration. Read the first couple of sentences of what she said again.
She said, the quantity of food has never been my problem. I've never been one to overeat. The problem has been what I eat.
Correct.
I never knew this kind of stuff until I went to Divine Design. It is a process, but it is worth it.
Right
I
on.
believe.
Yes, quantity. See, when you eat good quality, your quality goes up. What happens to your quantity? That's where obesity came from. Period. Huh? Right. So if you reverse it, see, that's where obesity came from. It came from you're eating decreased quality and you're not getting the quality, so your body is constantly in a state of starvation. Your body's constantly wanting to get the vitamins and minerals. So you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you go downstairs, you eat chocolate chip cookie dough and a thing of cake batter because your body is wanting you to get some vitamin A or some zinc or something. Your body builds a catalog of all the stuff you've ever eaten. Remember the subconscious mind thing I was telling you about? Your body knows a catalog of everything you've ever eaten. That's why pregnant women have cravings for weird things, like pretzels dipped in ketchup or something. I don't know. It's a weird, because your body knows that the pretzels have this and the ketchup has this, and so you have these weird food cravings. It's explainable. It's no mystery. Your body is wanting to get these weird foods because it knows what vitamins and minerals are in those foods. So it wakes you up at 3:30 in the morning. It carts you downstairs and you eat or drink something that is a weird combination because your body's starving. So when the sugar goes up, you're eating you're eating fake foods, right? So your body's constantly trying. So you now have, remember when I had this, a nutritional deficiency that's leading to an organ dysfunction. In this case, it's your fat cells, your pancreas, your blood. Yes, what else? That's obesity in a nutshell, folks, and it has nothing to do with calories. Yes. So Virginia, yes, that was spot on. Yes.
Thank you, Virginia.
She's a current patient, by the way, and she's seeing some great gains. And she said she never knew this before coming to Divine Design. Thank you. Hallelujah. That's why we're here. Right on.
Yes.
What else?
Also, Jamie Johnson said, what's the difference between x-rays and an ultrasound?
X-rays, the tissue that you're examining, and X-rays are mainly for bones. Ultrasound, you can look at a lot more stuff, soft tissues, kidneys, uteruses, babies, stuff like that. Ultrasound is sound waves. X-rays are a lot smaller than sound waves and shoot directly through and can bounce off bones and show up white on a black film. So that's about it. That's all you need to know. That's a good question. So that about spells it out. So our call to action, hey, you are here, somebody called you, somebody brought you here, somebody told you about us. You either walked in word of mouth, somebody told you about us, you came because you saw us on Facebook or Google, in which case we told you come to a class, come to an event where you learn more about our heart and what we do and why we do it. Oh yeah, well does anybody else have questions? Anything else?
Is there something?
We need you on microphone.
Is there a substitute for sugar?
Well, that's a loaded question. The
And
answer is yeah.
not an artificial substitute, but agave syrup, okay?
Agave is not great. Yeah, there are. Well, here's the thing. Here's what I answer that question with, and we covered this in. See, these are the most frequently asked questions. So good question. We asked that last time 2 weeks ago. When people ask, well, what can I replace sugar with? The thing that we have to do first is we have to break your sugar habit. We have to rescue your taste buds back from enemy territory. We have to get you off of the sugar so that you understand and so that you can taste your food again for the very first time. Because when people have been hammering their taste buds with sugar for decade after decade after decade, they seem to think that they have to have sugar. But the fact is you can survive with 0 sugar in your diet. So to replace it, though, I would recommend only after a certain amount of time, when you've got a very healthy diet, then you can use honey, or I don't even know. You can sweeten it up with blueberries, strawberries, banana. You can put fruit and a little bit of fruit and things into your shakes. But agave is processed. Agave syrup is processed. I used to think that was a safe alternative. I don't anymore. I haven't used that in years now. But it's better than, there's a lot of high fructose corn syrup in a lot of agave that's out there. And there's a lot of crappy honey out there too. So the thing is to get over your sugar addiction, and then if and only then is the time to reintroduce things that are sweeter back into your diet. If you do that, you won't want the honey and you won't want the agave syrup. How many of you can say yes to that? Hands go up. Yeah, Charlotte, say a little something about that. You're nodding back there because you've been through the whole program. You kind of know what's going on.
I had a hard time going into a room with sugar and not wanting it, whatever. And now I can be in a room and it doesn't bother me one bit. And it's just the change of. It took a while. It was tough for the first few weeks, and now I feel a lot better. And
Do you feel like
and
you're
my
still
food, it tastes great.
Right,
And I'm not eating any sugar.
right.
I'm not eating any fruits even.
But did
now.
that question probably cross your mind when you first started out?
Yes.
Like, what do I replace it with?
Yes.
How do I live?
Yes.
What about the sugars and the at work? Everybody has. What do they bring in for work? Cheap stuff,
Cakes,
right?
donuts.
Cakes, donuts. Why? Why do they bring that in? It's
Cheap and easy, and everybody likes it.
easy. Everybody loves it.
So it's like a crack addict saying, how do I replace my dope?
Yes,
Exactly.
He just
Absolutely.
doesn't need it.
he doesn't need it.
Right.
Exactly. Say that. Get that man on microphone right now.
So it's like a crack addict saying, how do I replace my dope?
Correct.
He doesn't need it.
He never needed it to begin with. Absolutely. Does that make sense? That's freeing, isn't it? Yeah. At first, I know it's kind of it's hard. It's hard being the messenger at times, especially when we get into the summer classes when we're talking about, what's really the truth about what's going on with the food and the air and the water and people's bloodstreams and what's going on with the flu shots and stuff like that. It's difficult. It's a lot to take in. That's why we don't throw it all at you all at once, or you'd go running, beating your head into the wall, going, what do I do? What do I do? But little things like this, you get your taste buds back. What else can we get back? Can we get your mind back? Can we get your hair back? Can we get your pain gone? Can we get your lungs back to breathing without inhalers and steroid shots? That's the key. The taste buds, that's just the first thing. Be transformed by what? The renewing of what? It's where it starts, right? Make sense? Great question. Anybody else? Great question. Great question. Because you know what? That's a great question. Because Sylvia, right? Because everybody has it.
Any questions? Good question.
Yep. Any question?
I don't know. I feel like I've heard there are certain fats you want to dodge. Is there certain fats that are bad for you that you just need to look out for?
Pretty much, yeah. Trans fats, man-made fats. Pretty much, here's the kicker. If God made it, go for it. If man made it, stay away from it. Because for years, you've all been told that fat made you fat, right? Well, so we went on a low-fat, no-fat craze back in when did that start? 60s, 70s? What happened to the low-fat, no-fat craze? Did people get healthier or did they get sicker? Yeah, we went up, they replaced it, yeah. They replaced it, they got rid of the fat, and they said, oh, fat makes you fat. Well, here, let's eat more bread. What's bread? Sugar, correct, right. But at the same time, they're missing one of the things that we talked about. Your body can only digest 3 things. Remember that? What were they? Protein, fats, and carbs, right? Here's the most important thing. What's your body made of? Protein and fats. Is any part of your body made of sugar? So when your thought, yeah, because you're such a sweetheart. That's right. Your heart, she said. That was good. So when you go with low fat, or people make you afraid of fat, that's why I said don't worry about the cholesterol and the sodium. Remember at the very beginning? Don't worry about the cholesterol and the sodium, because when you're afraid of fat, guess what? It's just like this gentleman over here, Chuck. He asked, it was Patton when he asked about sugars, good sugars or bad sugars. It's just like that. The fats, with the sugar, when you increase the sugar in fruits, you genetically modify it to increase the fruit, the sugar, so that we get your taste buds hooked, so you eat more blueberries and strawberries. There goes the vitamin mineral content. It's the same thing with fat. If you decrease the fat, what happens to the increased sugar content? What happens to the amount of sugar that you eat? You're going to eat calories You're going to eat something. You can only eat 3 things. So if you push down the amount of fat, what's automatically going to go up? Sugar. So the big thing is fats that God made will help you. Fats that man made, like the trans fats, like we took away butter. Remember back in the, when was that? I don't know. Took away butter and said, here's a safe substitute. What was the safe substitute? Vegetable oil, margarine.
Olive oil is, what about the Mediterranean?
Olive oil is great. Olive oil, that's a good fat. Just don't cook with it. Don't get it over like 200 degrees or so. It wasn't made to go over 200 degrees. Then it smokes and it's toxic to you. That's why it goes on salads, stuff like that. So does that answer your question, Chris?
I think so.
There's so much misinformation out there about fats, about good fats and bad fats. The thing is, just eat everything in its natural state, as close as possible to its natural state. And remember, the food rules, don't go with anything man-modified. Eat what God made, stay away from what man modified, as much as you can, as much as possible. Yes?
Not really totally certain what she meant by this, but she said.
Make sure we're filling out these surveys too, folks. Everybody, old patients,
Yes,
new patients.
please.
Yeah, we need those surveys, just so that we can improve, that's all. Yes?
She said, but were they developing healthy muscle mass on the low-fat diet too? This is Jamie Johnson asking this. No.
Well, you tell me, what happened in the last 40 years? Were people getting healthier muscle mass, or were they getting more obese? What was happening to women's hormones in the last 40 years with a no-fat, low-fat diet? Where's the cholesterol? What happens? Look at the words. Cholesterol makes, it's right in the words, estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, estradiol, cholesterol, progesterone. All those fats come from what molecule? Cholesterol, correct? You see how the words are similar? It's the same compound, cholesterol. So when you're on a low cholesterol diet, what's going to happen to your hormones? Right. So how's that low fat, no fat working out for us now? We got low birth weights, we got infertility, we got ED all over the place, we got people with, all this stuff, depression and all these women with thyroid problems, right? How's that working out? Didn't work out. Worked out horribly. Okay, anything else? So call to action, get on board, do it. Fill out your survey here. If you're, we've got giveaways too. If you're ready to get started and ready to pull the trigger on everything, get started tonight. We've got, I'll let everybody go. Facebook, we're signing off. Anything else before we say bye to Facebook? Anybody? It's been a great crowd. Everybody say bye, Facebook. Bye, Facebook. Thank you. Dr. Brett Spradlin, Divine Design, Natural Health. February 11th, next class. Nutritional Upgrades 2.0. See you there. Yes. Anything else?